Hi, this is Ed from Musical Lessons, and today we're going to talk about Love Yourself. It's a tune off of Justin Bieber's Purpose album, and it was co-written by Ed Sheeran. I encourage you to check out the blog post because there's a Wikipedia link so you can learn a little bit more about the tune, like the little factoid about Ed Sheeran, and plus a YouTube link so you can check out the tune. There's a link to the tabs so you can check out the lyrics as well, although I'm giving you a chord chart in that blog post. All right, but there's playing tips, there's accompaniment techniques written out in detail, so I really encourage you to check that out. All right, so come on back here in a sec and we'll start going over the chords that you need for this tune. This tune's in the key of E. However, we're going to be using a capo at the 4th fret and we're going to be playing and thinking in the key of C. Now, although E is a guitar key, if we played in the key of E, the chords would just sound a little bit too muddy. And in C, it's going to sound better and it's going to be easier. So we're in the key of C. These are the chords that you're going to need is C, D minor. Now I like using my pinky on the 2nd string 3rd fret. Some folks like using their 3rd finger. I prefer using the pinky. Feel free to use whichever one you like. For the F chord, some people enjoy playing the bar chord or the short bar chord. I use this acoustic version of the F chord. You know, this Delta blues guys used to use this, and traditional folk singers used to use this. And pretty much is what you drape your thumb over the 6th string 1st fret to get that F, and then you play the triad on the middle strings. So that's the F. Now for the G chord, I like using a 4-finger version for the G chord. I like putting my 3rd finger on the 2nd string 3rd fret and my pinky on the 1st string 3rd fret. And it also worked really, really nice in this tune as well. There's a G over B, which is basically the same fingering, except I'm not going to use my 2nd finger on the 6th string 3rd fret. And we use that just to get some nice bass movement going from chord to chord. And an A minor chord. Okay, so review those chords, come on back here and we'll go over the accompaniment patterns. We're going to use a basic fingerstyle technique for this. Now, feel free to use a pick if you'd like to. I prefer using my fingers because it gives me more options. Okay, so for fingerstyle, you can assign a finger to a string. My thumb is going to bounce between the 5th and the 6th strings to play the bass note. However, for the D minor chord, I have to move it to the 4th string. My index, middle, and ring fingers are going to be playing on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. And when I get to the D chord, I do move them up. Okay? In the intro, we're going to make a couple of adjustments on that. All right, so we'll go over that when I talk about the intro. But for now, just assign a finger to the strings. This tune begins in the verse. The verse is 16 bars. It's a 4-bar section that repeats. Each of those 4 bars is broken down into 2 chord riffs. Each chord riff is 2 measures each. The first chord riff is C, G over B, A minor. Now, we talked about assigning fingers to strings. Here, because of the way that the tune sounds, it would be best to put the index, middle, and ring fingers on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. My thumb is going to play the bass on the 5th string. Then we go to the next chord riff, which is D minor to C to the G over B. Okay, now my index, middle, and ring fingers stay on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. My thumb begins on the 4th string for the D minor. Then it moves to the 5th string for the C and the G over B. All right, and then you just imitate the rhythm that's on the recording. Have fun with that. chorus is 8 measures. It's 4 2-bar chord riffs. Now, the chord riffs, they're 2 bars. They each start off exactly the same. They start off with A minor to F. The first time they end on C. The second time, A minor, F, C again. Now the third time, it ends on C to G, and the last time it just ends on the G. Okay, now for our accompaniment, what we're going to do is use a combination of block chords, because that's a block chord method. Then we can use the bass chord, or we could use the bass chords with the arpeggios. Now I loosely interpret these. You know, it depends on how the song feels, how the singer's singing it, what I'm going to do, but pretty much it's... All right, so mix up those patterns and see what you come up with. All right, I'll see you back here for the chorus. The chorus is 4 bars, and it's repeated twice for an 8-bar section. Okay, because once we get to the chorus, what I want to do is I want to change the mood, I want to change the texture, and the chorus is generally the most exciting part of the song. For that reason, I'm going to use a finger strumming pattern, and pretty much what I do is I take my index and middle fingers and I strum the chords. Now I'm brushing down and up. When I brush down, I get a little bit more nail, so I get a little bit more bite. When I brush up, I get a softer sound. And I like that. I also use a pulsing technique on my left hand. So you'll watch as I play through the chord progression again. My left hand will not lift, I won't let go of the strings, but I am letting go of the pressure. And what it does is it shortens the strum to give it a little bit more of a percussive feel. Okay, so it sounds like this. All right, so you'll see that. Feel free to use a pick if you'd like. Feel free to play around with these different accompaniments and see what you come up with. You know, I'm sure you're going to come up with something really cool. I hope that you enjoyed learning Love Yourself. It has a pop R&B type of feel to it, and these come from Justin Bieber's influences, which he states as being the Beatles, Boyz II Men, Mariah Carey, just to name a few. So if you haven't checked out those artists, please do so. You'll find some inspiration, maybe some motivation. Maybe it'll take your music in a whole new direction. I thank you for hanging with me, and I'll see you here next time.